So, Prajo, as we said on Wednesday, that we'll touch on the PSL signings that we've seen so far. Teams have been very, 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 very busy. I think Pirates is amongst one of the busiest teams. They've already signed two already this week. They signed Beneview from Maritzburg, and they also signed what's this guy from Mamelodi Sundowns? Let me just check. Lisedi Kapini. Lisedi Kapini. I think it's going to be a good signing for Pirates as a number 10. He's going to replace Kabelo Dlamini there because I think Kabelo Dlamini, it's someone you can't really rely on. You know, he's on and off, hot and cold. Yeah, I think Pirates have made good signings. We saw Chiefs has also been busy with the likes of Modi and Moby, and now I'm forgetting their names. Here they are. They have Moby, they have Chivairo Pule, Ndum Tanzane, Edson Daniel Castillo, the Venezuelan. Sundowns have also signed. Sundowns have signed Nhlapo from Supersport United. They have Junior Mendieta. So exciting times, exciting times. So, Bracho, which signing has caught your attention so far?
I think a good signing for Orlando Pirates is Liseri Kapini. I think he wasn't given a proper. When he moved to Sundowns, he was at the height of his game.
I remember from Black Leopards.
Yeah, he was playing beautiful football, and he was playing with the team where you could have seen that he's a standout player.
Yes.
Because he wasn't playing with people that helped him to be a standout player. So when he went to Sundowns, I personally felt that during that period he was ready to go to Europe.
At that time.
Yes, at that time. I felt that a European move would have been also good for him because he was on top of his game, and then he was drowned at Sundowns with all the talent that was there at Sundowns, and he just lost himself. But he showed his ability again now during
the Kosafa.
He showed his
Yes,
ability.
yes,
You
yes,
see,
he's very
you see,
talented.
you see, he was playing with not the best of South African players because that's why the senior coach felt that no, I'm not going to work with Kosafa because what we are doing is we are taking the, I will say, the mediocre players that are knocking on the Bafana door, and also the players that had the opportunity that the coach would love to see again. They play in Kosafa, and he basically was a standout player in Kosafa.
True. But Joe, you raised something very interesting here. I've always had this question. I think what Hugo Bros is doing doesn't work like that. If you coach a national team, you cannot pick which games. For me, if you're a real passionate Bafana coach, I don't think it's right for him not to coach the Kosafa games. I've been wanting to ask someone. On my personal opinion, I think it's totally wrong. If you are the national team coach, wherever the national team is playing, you have to be there. Rather, let him Kelele be the head coach and him being assistant. Maybe just sits on the bench. I think it's totally wrong. Do you think it's a right way of doing it that he chooses which games? He doesn't coach Kosafa and he doesn't coach the. What's this one that they play with? It's just the leagues. The Chen.
Yeah.
The Chen doesn't coach Kosafa and the Chen. Do you think that's right or is it an attitude problem? It's just undermining us as a country. Sorry to move away, but we'll get back to the signings of the PSL.
Everybody undermines us. From Europe that come and coach here in South Africa. And he's not the only one that didn't that don't want to do that. All the European coaches, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Because Safa allows them. And it's so wrong.
It's it's criminal. You're right.
It's criminal.
I don't agree with it. Wrong. Yeah.
Because why do you want to work just what you think is the best? And you don't want to work with boys that you want to get to the best
for the future.
You see, so he's not doing that. He's basically not doing that. And trust me, I think the Kosafa team played exciting football.
100%.
They played exciting football.
100%.
And now you ask yourself, where are we going to football wise in this country when you have coaches with that type of attitude? And also,
Mm.
and also, you know what is so wrong? What is so wrong is that they've also exposed Hellman. They said, well, he cannot also sit on a bench because he doesn't have the qualification.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's why the Hellman is not sitting on the bench anymore. Because I remember the first few times Hellman used to sit.
Yeah, he doesn't have the qualification.
Yes, yes. What can we do? Anyways, moving right along. I think we need to have a specific show just to discuss Hugo Bruce, his team, what he's done so far, and him undermining. He really needs a show on his own. But anyways, moving right along. So just to sum up, as you was speaking about Lisedi Campini, just to sum up the Orlando Pirates signings for the seasons. So they signed Melusi Butele, the TS Galaxy goalkeeper, Siphelelo Balani from All Stars, Katlego Otladisa from Marumo Gallants, Patrick Masongai from Supersport United, Swamatla Gumende from Dondol Stars, Lisedi Kapinga, obviously from Melody Sundowns, Karim Kimvodi from Maritzburg United. I think that's another good player, Karim Kimvodi. Moving right along, Kaiser Chiefs. They've also been busy. Mulefenseki. Are you happy with the changes that they're making, Kaiser Chiefs? Do you think they'll start competing this season? Do you think they've signed right? Please be honest.
Did the coach sign?
This is South Africa. Coaches don't sign players in SA. The management signs for you. This is South Africa.
You see, you must ask yourself, did the coach sign? Because the coach must work with those players. And I think in the case of Orlando Pirates, I think that the coach had little say. And I think in the case of Kaiser Chiefs, can you answer me on that one? Did the coach have a say? You're the presenter, yeah, I'm a guest.
I don't want to be honest about it because I don't want the Chiefs supporters to be mad at me. But one thing I know for a fact, some of the players they signed before he was even announced as the head coach. So obviously it means the management signed without. Maybe the coach did discuss behind the scenes. We don't know. But I've noticed with Pirates, Chiefs, the management signs for you.
Let's narrow it down. Let's narrow it down. You can see the coach didn't sign.
Yeah.
Because who was supposed to be their coach?
Arthur Zwane.
No.
Oh, you mean originally? It was I forgot his name, the guy from who used to coach Simba from Morocco.
Yes,
that guy. But they failed to agree with terms because he wanted to bring his own technical team, and then they had to get rid of. They don't want to get rid of Arthur Zwane because if they get rid of Arthur Zwane, it means they must pay him off his contract. So that's
his millions, lots of millions.
His millions, yeah.
Because Arthur is on 850,000 rand a month.
Yo.
So that is basically the situation. So it's a little bit difficult. It's very difficult. You see, so it again show you that the coach didn't sign. Maybe here we can say that the now coach was basically little bit part of it because he wasn't actually the coach then. He was actually roping because it was an SOS situation. Yes, so I don't think even Arthur, because Arthur was on his way out, he was actually praying that he's still going to have a place in Kaizer Chiefs. So he didn't sign, and Molifi didn't sign. So Bobby and
Junior Kaizer
Junior signed. But that's now you ask yourself, is this football?
Not anymore, hey? Because, so do you think the glory days are still not yet back this season? Because as a person who's been following the game, especially you, Ne, I'm sure you must have watched Kaizer Chiefs of the 90s when Kaizer Chiefs used to be feared. Do you think those days are coming back or they still far? Because now they're not feared, to be honest.
I think Molifi's got a mountain to climb. Gordon Ingerson made a good statement in one of our newspapers. I won't mention the name. And he said that Sundowns can be beaten. Sundowns can be beaten. But we will see will it happen from Kaizer Chiefs, or will it basically happen from Orlando Pirates, or will it happen from anybody else? But if you look at the teams in the Premier Soccer League, you'll see lots of them are working overtime to make sure that they will have competitive outputs when it comes to playing in the game this season coming, especially with SuperSport also. SuperSport want to really compete and do a little bit more well than what they did this season. And Gavin Hunt, they've also went into the transfer market, making sure he can actually get what will help him to fill the gaps that were left open during the season that have basically passed.
And that guy knows how to. If there's a guy who knows how to sign, it's Gavin. Now Gavin can sign.
You see, so
Yeah.
so that is basically the situation.
So with Kaizer Chiefs, as we really sum up their signings, they've signed Given him Simango, the former TS Galaxy captain, Duduzim Danzani from Cape Town City. We saw what he did. They've signed Dihloka from SuperSport United, a defender as well. Ranga Chevara from Marumo Gallants, Pule Mobi from Golden Arrows. Edson Daniel Castillo Casilla from Venezuela, and Debujo Pozzani. I want to speak about Edson Daniel Castillo. Do you think he'll do what Jose Torrealba did? Remember the last Venezuelan we had was Jose Torrealba.
Torrealba was in a class of his own.
Do you think he'll do the same?
It's a wait and see.
It's a wait and see.
It's basically a wait and see.
Yeah, I'm being unfair on you as well. It's a wait and see. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wait and see. I was actually surprised to see Jamie Weber from SuperSport United joining Skukun. I thought Jamie Weber will be signed by a Pirate or a Sundowns or maybe a Amazulu, because Amazulu are also signing these days. But I was shocked. Why is Skukune United? I didn't see that one coming.
No, you must remember they are a competing team.
Skukune.
Yes, under Brendan.
Oh yeah, Brakis is that makes sense. That makes sense.
And Brakis, though, for most of his professional career,
yes,
he actually worked not in the PSL, but in the lower leagues. You understand?
Yes.
In the Motsepe Foundation League, most of the time he worked there. So let's get back to when he got his break at Morocco Swallows.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed his break, and I can safely tell you that he did well at Swallows.
I agree with you.
I think he did well.
I agree with you.
I basically also think he did well at Amazulu.
I agree with you.
I don't know what was the problem there.
The thing is, our chairmen don't understand one thing, that you cannot win a league in a season. It takes at least 3 to 5 seasons to win a league. So Brakis is not a fly-by-night. He's not a coach who's going to come and play long balls and win you the league. He wants to have structure, he builds. So he's not given a chance. That's what I think. Both at Swallows and at Amazulu. He was not given enough time.
And when he took over from Caetano Tembo at Sekekune, he actually
revived them.
Yes. And that's why they played in the final.
And they gave Pirates a scare. Pirates a scare on the day. I thought Pirates is in trouble.
Yeah, a big scare. And there again, that goal.
Yeah. It was actually a smash and grab win. When we are sorry, Mapaganias, but just being honest, that final was a smash and grab win. To be honest.
Because how it was won. The goal.
Yeah. And then moving right along, Sundowns have signed Tapelo Masego, Junior Mandieta, Lisiba Nku from Marumo Gallants, and Lucas Ribeiro Costa. How do you think they'll fare? Do you think Sundowns, like I asked you that day about Pep, will Pep still dominate? Do you think Sundowns will dominate the season, or their reign has come to an end?
No, I don't think Sundowns will dominate, because remember, Sundowns are now sitting with one coach. Because remember, when they were 3, and when Mangoba was still number 1, Mangoba gave Rulani the opportunity to say much. He gave Steve the opportunity to say much. And when the relegation came, Mangoba was very quiet. And I want to see if Manova is going to be vocal, and Steve is not there. So it was three coaches actually
Coaching.
coaching and substituting one coach in Pizzo.
Yes, yes.
So we will see what is going to happen now. But I think come next week, it's beginning next week.
Next weekend, this time, Ziasuga.
Yeah. Come next weekend, this time, it's definitely going to be a opportunity for us to see how do they play. You always watch their first game and see what happens in their first game. And then that will actually tell you what is going to happen in other games to come.
And I also think Swallows will do well under Coach Steve Kompela. I've seen teams that his coach Steve Kompela takes them from zero and they finish there in the top 5, top 4. I think Swallows will be a threat this season with Andy Lechali there as well. I don't know. I think Swallows will be a different team next season. What do you think?
Yeah, Swallows is definitely going to be a different team. I believe that Steve has got the ability to do well at Swallows because he's a motivator. He doesn't need luxury. He just needs willingness.
True.
You see?
True.
And Rulani's got luxury and willingness. You see? He doesn't need luxury.
I get you. I think his absence from the Sundowns dressing room will definitely be seen. That's just my personal opinion. I think Rulani is a very good coach. He knows his football. But now that fatherhood voice that Steve and Manzoba used to bring, you take that out of the Sundowns dressing room. I mean, big stars are very difficult to handle, you know? They are egos. I think Sundowns will suffer based on that. I don't know. But I think Steve's voice will be missed in the Klorkop dressing room.
Yeah, it will definitely be missed. You know what is good about Steve's voice? Steve is a philosopher.
True.
Steve is a philosopher. And the reason why Manchester City is doing so well,
yes,
is because Pep is a philosopher. Pep will always mix his football knowledge with philosophy, and that's how he gets his message across. You see, so that will basically be missed, and that was actually driving the youngsters at Kloerkop when Steve was basically there.
I get you. Yeah, no, let's wait and see. As you said, exciting season ahead. Yeah, let's just wait. I can only look forward to next season. As I said, I think the playing fields will be slightly leveled between, I think teams that are going to be a threat, it's going to be Pirates, Sundowns, Supersport United. Then you'll obviously have the big guns, Kaiser Chiefs, knocking here and there, maybe playing a final Nyana. Yeah, that's how I see the season panning out. I think Pirates, Supersport, and Sundowns teams to beat. You can't write off Kaiser Chiefs. I mean, the biggest team in the country with the support, they will have those wins and stuff like that. But I say those 3 teams are the teams to watch for me. And for you, my good sir?
I think that we this time around we have to focus on all 16. You're going to ask me why all 16?
Of course.
Is because it's 16 investments, and clubs are going out of their way to make sure that they can do well. And if you look at the aggression that Royal AM is using to actually reverse their ban, you can see that they are serious, and don't write off Royal AM, because Royal AM won't win the league, but they will cause a whole lot of upsets.
Especially now that they've brought in back John Maduga.
Yeah, John has been playing for years in the league, and he also knows the ins and outs of the league.
And he also knows the players, because it's the same
Yes.
guys he coached from Celtic.
Yes.
And then when they merged the teams, it was his boys. That's why he did so, because he knows the boys anyways.
Yeah. So it's going to be a total different season. And back to your question, I think it's 16 teams to watch, and they will give us a whole lot of talking appetite.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Brendan Bratta to come back on. I really miss the guys, eh? So this year I see there's no preseason. Normally this weekend you're supposed to be having a black label, or it means there's no preseason trophy this year, ne? Technically.
No, what they basically did, remember, they have changed the structure now. The structure of the competition is changed.
Oh yeah, it's going to be now a tournament.
Yeah,
It's replacing
yeah,
the Telkom.
Yeah.
But Brajo, as a person who's been following the game for years and years, we know that whether it was a Wisa Spectacular or a Telkom Charity Cup or a Carling Blade, like we must get, like for example in England they've got the community shows. I personally miss that. I miss those days as a kid when I would wake up at 9 o'clock, watch the first game, then the second game at 11 o'clock, the final at 4. Remember those days when you used to have soccer the whole day?
Yeah, but
then it went to the Carling Blade.
Carling killed it.
Yeah.
All the focus was just on
Chiefs and Pirates. Yeah.
And we'll see, and maybe they'll get a sponsor that wants to go into that direction, or the league can also do something. I think what the league can also do is to make sure that they have that type of competition. Because you saw that in other countries, the FAs have come together. That's why you get the Nations League.
Yeah.
You see,
It's also coming in Africa. Did you hear?
Yeah. In Africa, they're talking about the Super League. I don't know, are they going to bring Nations League also?
Oh yeah, it's the Super League in Africa. You're right.
Super League.
Yeah, it's starting.
Because the Nations League is the league where the countries play against one another in a league. In Europe, you have the Nations League. Why don't we have it in Africa, where we have not just the African Cup of Nations, but the Nations League, where Africans can play against one another during FIFA
breaks.
FIFA breaks, where there's no World Cup qualification, or in breaks after the league, where they use at least 1 or 2 weeks for the nations to play one another, and in between also. But as I said, it's a big wait and see. And back to the PSL, it's going to be an exciting season.
I agree with you. I'm looking forward. You can see the teams have beefed up their squads. They are just doing their final touches. All looking forward to next week when the league starts. Anyways, Bracho, I think we're done for the day. Thank you so much to our listeners at home for lending us your ears. I don't know, did I cut you off? Do you wanna say something? Do you wanna add? Or on your side?
No, there's nothing to add for me. And I basically think if you have to look at the preseason preparations, then something good is coming out of Orlando Pirates.
I agree with you. I think the team to watch this season is Orlando Pirates.
Yeah, something good is coming out of them.
Yeah. And as it's what you were saying now, that the coach now understands the players. You know, if you work with players for a season, then the following season becomes easier, because now you have the chemistry, you gel as a team. So I think they've got that right. I was actually listening to, do you know Tandy Morafe?
Yes.
She was saying that the reason they chose Spain, she's saying it's a two-way thing. They want the players to understand the coach's culture. So that's why they went to Spain. As much as the coach had to learn the South African culture. So now they want the Pirates players to understand the coach's culture so that they can meet each other halfway. I thought that was a good statement and a good thing for them to do. Very strategic.
Yeah, it was very strategic, and also for logistics it was easy, because going to Spain, you know your country, you've coached there, and it's easy for you to arrange games, and it's easy for you to help with logistics, get a place where the people can train and where also the people can play. But as I said, it is basically good, and it was hot in Europe, you see. So it was actually good to go that direction.
No, thank you so much for joining us. 97.2 Kofifi FM. It's where it all began. Continue enjoying the weekend with us here at Kofifi FM. And you know you're going to hear nice tunes here. You know you're going to hear classics.